Cardinal from Oklahoma City in the Women's College World Series. And again, you'll be able to hear it online at texasports.com. You can link to it from the iHeartRadio app. You can hear it on the Texas Longhorns app as well. So glad to have the opportunity to bring you that special preview of what the Longhorns are looking for tonight and throughout the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. Coming up, we'll shift our focus back over to baseball. And we'll talk about the Longhorn baseball team's preparations in College Station to open NCAA regional play tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock against the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana. We'll continue with that right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
And with that, we pivot from softball to baseball, from the studio to the ballpark. And we say good afternoon again to you as we bring you the program hours 2 and 3 from the heart of the Brazos Valley here at Bluebell Park, Olson Field at Bluebell Park to be exact, as the Texas Longhorns will be in action in the NCAA Bryan College Station Regional. That's the actual name of it. It's not the College Station Regional. It's the Bryan College Station Regional here. So we welcome you back to the program. Craig Way with you here from Brazos Valley, from Bluebell Park. And thanks again to Andrew Haynes helping us out as we brought you that special Texas Softball Women's College World Series preview. Longhorns will be in action at 6 o'clock. As of right now, the tournament is still on schedule. They had a little bit of a rain delay prior to the first game, but then when they got the first game going, it moved. And UCLA, the number 6 seed, knocked off Alabama 4-1. So UCLA will take on the winner of the second game between Duke and Oklahoma, which is about to get underway. So that contest will get underway here in a few minutes, and then of course the bottom part of the bracket will start at 6 o'clock tonight, as Texas will play the Stanford Cardinal, and that's at 6 o'clock. And again, it is a 5:45 airtime, and you can listen to it online at texasports.com. You can link to it from the iHeartRadio app, and of course it's on the Texas Longhorns app as well. Pleased to have the producer alongside, Cameron D. Parker. The D on the birth certificate stands for Dallas, as in the team for whom his father rooted so ardently. And Cameron, at least for a time, claimed to root for them. Now, not so much, since he has decided not to watch them, although he says he still follows them. And so he's transferred the D to being Dallas, as in Stars and Mavericks. Mavericks, Timberwolves, Game 5 tonight back in Minneapolis, and the Dallas Stars are going to have to deal with Game 5 in Dallas now, a 2-2 series. Boy, that game last night, it flipped much like Game 3 did the opposite way, didn't it, Cam?
Yeah, and first things first, Craig, good afternoon. Hope you're enjoying Bluebell Park, and may you enjoy some good Bluebell ice cream while you're down there. I know they're not technically the same thing, but yeah, I mean, what I said yesterday on the show was I would love to see the Stars come out and set the tone, score first, and they did that. And I thought, wow, 2-0, here we go. They listened to me. And then it goes back to the old moniker about, well, if you want to win a playoff hockey game, then win 2 out of the 3 periods. And Edmonton, by far, were the better team in periods 2 and 3, and even a little bit into that first period against Dallas. And so, hey, it's tough to win on the road. It's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a gentleman's sweep now with the 2-2. But every game, leaving Game 3, if you wanted to overreact, you could say, wow, it's going to be Dallas in 5 games. They're the better team. And now after game 4, you could be saying the same thing about Edmonton. So it's a seesaw. It goes back and forth, just like the Rangers-Panthers series. I am a bit worried about Tanev's injury. He's been so good for Dallas defensively. Looked like it took a puck to his foot. Did not come back in. So, we await the status of him. But, already with Root being, a little banged up and some of the other guys, Dallas.
How about Marchment getting hit in the face?
Yeah.
In the face.
He was injured already in the playoffs. So hopefully Tanev, can be ready for game 5. But, man, I mean, these playoff series in hockey just back and forth, just like a heavyweight bout.
Same with the NBA Western Conference Finals. Looked like the Mavericks had a chance to sweep out Minnesota. Did not happen. They lost game 4 in Dallas. Now back to Minneapolis. Is the momentum back in the grasp of the Timberwolves, even though the Mavericks still lead the series 3-1 as they get ready for game 5 tonight?
I know the momentum's back. Kyrie, Luka did not have their best shooting night. PJ Washington was 3 of 13. Anthony Towns was knocking down 3-pointers in that fourth quarter. Edwards hit some big shots. So you expected at least one game this series where you're going to have a fourth quarter dud from Kyrie and Luka and see the guys in Minnesota kind of step up to the plate, so to say. And they did that in game 4. But that was just to avoid a sweep. Now, game 5, back at home, the Minnesota crowd has been great all playoffs long. I would not be surprised if Minnesota wins tonight, Craig, especially with Derek Lively probably not playing in this game and Dallas, is banged up. But I still think Dallas wins this series. But, hey, I mean, in all 3 games before game 4, Minnesota led in that fourth quarter. And at the very end, Kyrie and Luka took over. So, we might see another game where it's tight, it's Minnesota, and then all of a sudden Luka and Kyrie step up, and just like that, this series is over, and now we have 8 days off between Celtics, Mavericks, and the NBA Finals.
They'd be fine with that. That's that runs that risk on that rest versus rust thing. Although the Celtics are looking at a 9-day break, so we'll see how that goes from there. As I mentioned, here at Bluebell Park, the Longhorns have already had their practice on the field. In fact, I did a little Instagram on there. If you follow me there on Instagram, at Horn Voice, you'll see that. I think I've also done the collaboration thing with the Zone and with 103.1, where you'll hear the game tomorrow, Austin's 80 station, 103.1 FM. So you can see them in action, taking some swings. Peyton Powell and Jared Thomas and all them, those guys taking some swings. We'll have some more on that tomorrow. Now, they also participated in their press conference, which was David Pierce and Peyton Powell and the starting pitcher for tomorrow's NCAA regional opener against Louisiana, Max Grubbs. And we'll hear from them coming up here in these final couple hours of the program as well. We will also hear from the head coach of the Ragin' Cajuns, Matt Deggs, who succeeded David Pierce. He followed David Pierce at Sam Houston State, and he's done a heck of a job and is the coach at Louisiana. We'll hear from Ragin' Cajun players like Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, Kyle DeBarge, as well. And, despair not, those of you who are part of the Association of Former Students and the 12th Man Foundation and all that sort of stuff. We will hear from Jim Schlossnagle and a couple of the Aggies as well. Texas A&M is, after all, the host of this regional, and they're the number 3 overall national seed. So they are certainly favored to win this regional and then host the super regional against the winner of the regional going on out in Santa Barbara, California, hosted by UCSB. It's funny, Roger Wallace, who will work with me on the broadcast, was in touch with our friend Greg Swindell, who's working the telecasts of the regional there in Santa Barbara. And Roger just happened to ask him, what the temperature was like. Yeah, it's 70 degrees, Cam. It's 70 in Santa Barbara. I'm looking at the digital thermometer here on the big board at Olson Field at Bluebell Park. 95. 9.5.
Yep.
Yeah. The Longhorns faced a similar type thing last year down in Coral Gables, but they had rain to deal with as well. The humidity was, the old phrase about like a sauna. So you had that, and Roger reminded me every game had a rain delay in that regional last year. I'd forgotten about that. Every single game had a rain delay in that, or started later as a result of that. So anyway, coming up, we'll hear from David Pierce. We're also going to hear from Peyton Powell coming up. So we'll do that. And as we continue through the program, we'll also hear from Louisiana head coach Matt Deggs and some of the Raging Cajuns as well. The Grambling Tigers are on the field right now. They're going through their practice. Texas A&M went this morning. They were first. Then Louisiana, the number 2 seed, went second. The Longhorns practice from about 1 o'clock until 2:15, right around that time. And now Grambling is on the field right now going through their workout. So we'll take a closer look at this regional and some of the other ones coming up. We'll keep you updated on the Women's College World Series. Again, the 6 seed UCLA has already beaten the 14 seed Alabama this afternoon 4-1. Duke just went down in the top of the first inning against Oklahoma. So again, the tournament is on time right now. That would mean the Longhorns game coming up at 6 o'clock against Stanford. For the moment, everything is on time. We'll talk some baseball coming up when we continue from Bluebell Park here in College Station on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Your Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone show hosts are looking good. Want to know how we know? It's time. Y'all ready? Because the Hard Knocks Life and the Craig Way Show have live video streams, faces for radio, and the digital screen.
It's main event time. It's going down.
Find us on Facebook at AM 1300 The Zone.
Did you know that solar energy gives you independence from utilities and helps keep your energy costs down? Why not get a free estimate with locally owned Divided Sky Roofing and Solar? You can get more information at mydividedsky.com. That's mydividedsky.com.
If you're looking for the most epic place on earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
If you think Taco Bell is only for late night, you are mistaken. Taco Bell is also for daytime, which is why it's introducing the new Cantina Chicken menu with new Cantina Chicken tacos, burrito, and quesadilla. And new ingredients like seasoned slow-roasted chicken, freshly prepared pico de gallo, shredded purple cabbage, and even a new avocado verde salsa packet. It's the Taco Bell for when it's not late night.
Whoa, not just late night. Try the new Cantina Chicken menu now. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations where supplies last. Contact store for participation varies.
With Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot, you can upgrade your home with up to $2,400 off select kitchen packages from top brands like Maytag. Enhance your kitchen with the exclusive Maytag French door refrigerator and fingerprint-resistant stainless steel, only at the Home Depot. And with dual power filtration on the Maytag Tall Tub dishwasher, you can skip soaking and scrubbing. Right now, get Memorial Day savings up to $2,400 off select kitchen packages at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid May 16th through June 5th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 512 512-593-4303. That's 512-593-4303. 512-593-4303.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
In this week's Marketers Report, we hear about the importance of local radio from Allison Griffin, head of marketing at State Farm.
iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
The free iHeart app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Real Fun Beach Radio. Real Fun Beach Radio is commercial-free all summer and gives you that toes in the sand beach music vibe 24/7. I'm picking up good vibrations. Sweet home Alabama all summer long. Just open the free iHeart app, search Real Fun Beach Radio, and start listening.
iHeart Radio.
Free never sounded so good.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of hundreds of thousands of titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
I'm Amy, that's Lisa, and we're just two girls that want to have a conversation with you.
Dear 16-year-old Andrea.
Hey, gorgeous.
Dear younger Lauren.
Each episode is stories from people.
I would deprive myself, weigh myself obsessively.
Because I was eating healthy, I couldn't understand that I had a problem with food.
Losing my period scared me the most. My story starts when I was around 7. That's when I started to hate my body.
Body image is like our inner picture of our outer self.
Healthy behaviors play a much bigger role in our health than the actual number on the scales.
Internal dialogue can be so powerful, and often it's super negative and critical in a way that we wouldn't talk to other people that we care about.
When you start to share your story, that gives other people the courage to share theirs.
I know you would be proud now of how far you have come in your relationship to food, exercise, and to yourself.
I felt freedom. I've gained relationships. I've found my true sense of self-worth.
There's one thing I need you to take away from this. You're going to be okay.
I'm Amy Brown, co-host of The Bobby Bones Show and host of 4 Things with Amy Brown podcast. And I'm Lisa Haim, registered dietitian, wellness blogger, and host of the Truthiest Life podcast. In early 2020, we got together to break the stigma and expose the truth about disordered eating in a 4-part podcast series called Outweigh. We were shocked by the support and the love that this series got. And we realized this is really an ongoing conversation, and it deserves to be its own weekly podcast. And in this new weekly Outweigh podcast, you'll hear from people just like you sharing their disordered eating stories. Plus, we're going to bring on experts to help guide and navigate this territory. And of course, you'll learn about our personal journeys along the way. We look forward to you joining us each week so that you never lose sight that a life without disordered eating outweighs everything.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one app.
It's the Hard Knocks Life Show. Weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
We welcome you back here to the program from College Station here on Sports Radio AM 1300 Zone. NCAA Bryan College Station Regional begins tomorrow. As we mentioned, this will be the 3rd time that Texas and Texas A&M have met at a regional. It will be the 4th time that they will have played in the postseason overall. Remember, they had the elimination game in Omaha 2 years ago. The Aggies won that to eliminate Texas. And other than that, of course, the other times were in the regionals and regional play at Reckling Park in Houston in 2014. Texas and Texas A&M ended up playing 3 times in that regional hosted by Rice, as both teams defeated Rice to knock out the host Owls. Texas had won a Friday afternoon 3-2 matchup. They were the 3 seed in that region, beat Texas A&M in that regional, and then came back after beating Rice on Saturday night in 11 innings, 3-2, because Rice had beaten George Mason in that regional opener. And then A&M eliminated Rice on Sunday afternoon, came back and beat Texas on Sunday night, and forced a final, if necessary, game on Monday night. That's when Chad Hollingsworth had the complete game performance for Texas, and the Longhorns won that one to win that regional. And they went on to host the Super Regional, defeating Houston in 2 straight at UFC Udish Falk Field, and then on to the College World Series in Omaha, where they finished tied for 3rd there. There was an extra inning loss against eventual national champion Vanderbilt from playing for the national title. Texas was a 3 seed that year, just as they are this season. The 2 teams met in Austin in 2018. They only played 1 time in that region. It was in a winner's bracket game on Saturday night, and Texas won that one. And then A&M was eliminated by Indiana in the Sunday elimination game, and then Texas beat Indiana, won that one, hosted the Super Regional, won that, and then went on to the College World Series in that one. And so the Longhorns have played Texas A&M in the postseason, but on a neutral site twice, in Omaha 2 years ago in that elimination game, in Houston at Reckling Park, and at home. It'll be the first time that the Longhorns will have faced the Aggies in postseason in College Station. Not only that, Texas is going to be playing Louisiana for the 2nd straight year in a regional opener. Now, you have to go all the way back more than 50 years ago to find the last time that Texas opened NCAA play against the same team they faced the prior year. That was Pan American, then Pan Am. Now you know them as UT Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV. So, but that was in what was called the old district day. Since they went to the regional format, I believe it was 1976, since they went to regional play, Texas has not faced the same program in back-to-back years. But they will tomorrow. It'll be the first time. So here's some comments from Longhorns head coach David Pierce. It was just a little while ago, just a few minutes ago, and Cameron Parker, the producer, does, as always, a fabulous job cobbling things together and getting it ready for your listening pleasure. So here some thoughts. We'll start it off with Longhorns head coach David Pierce.
No, it's regional play, postseason play. Pretty exciting for our squad. Been through a lot. We had a lot of ups and downs, but we were able to play really well in conference. Won 9 of our 10 conference series. Teams played well. We have the ability to really do some great things on the field, and at times we can be a little ugly. So hopefully we can be consistent and play well this weekend.
Yeah, one thing, Coach Pierce will never sugarcoat it. He'll talk about it. At times they look really good. At times they look very, very ugly. Now to the questions. And it was our friend Danny Davis of the Austin American Statesman asked about his decision to go with Max Grubbs to start the first game of the regional. Remember, Max did not pitch in Arlington at the Big 12 tournament since Longhorns went 2 and out, and Charlie Hurley had pitched the first game, and they'd lost out on that, and Ace Whitehead had pitched the second. But it will be, or rather, Ace Whitehead the first one, and Charlie Hurley the second. So it's going to be Max Grubbs, who started a lot of Friday nights this year. He had started, remember, the season in the bullpen, and then was a Sunday starter, then flip-flop with LeBaron Johnson Jr. to go to Friday night. So Pierce was asked, Coach Pierce was asked about the decision to go with Max Grubbs, and how about his strategy for his rotation for this regional overall.
Sometimes you don't want to overthink it. Max has been our first guy out, Max, 7 weeks or so, and he's committed to the strike zone. He's really done great in that role of giving his team a chance to win, and I have a lot of confidence in his ability to really pound the strike zone and force whoever he's pitching against. And in this scenario, pitching against a really good Lafayette team, but forcing them to earn it. And so, he's not a big strikeout guy, so he's got to stay off the barrel and he's got to rely on his defense. But for this weekend, I just felt like they're a very good team. Max has been our guy, so we're going with our guy.
All right, so he's the guy on that. Peyton Powell has been the guy at third base all season long. And, of course, Peyton was a starter last year when Texas faced Louisiana down at the Coral Gables Regional, hosted by Miami. Texas rallied from an early deficit. They won that game 4-2. So Powell was asked, is it a little strange to play Louisiana for a second straight year in a regional opener?
Yeah, it's interesting playing them back-to-back to start off regional play. That's the first I've heard of him saying that. But it's a totally new, different team for us. We have a lot of new guys. And the guys that were here last year obviously know that it's a good team over there in Louisiana. But it's nothing we're shying away from. We've been preparing for this all year, and we have a plan coming in. So we're just ready to attack it with our team and our plan.
Yeah. All right. So what he meant when he said first I've heard of it, Kyle DeBarge, who was the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year in the Louisiana press conference, and you'll hear his comments coming up, was asked about being kind of an overlooked 2 seed, if you can imagine that, or a below the radar 2 seed, because so much attention is focused on Texas and Texas A&M and the possibility that they might face off against one another here. But Louisiana is the higher seeded team between Louisiana and Texas. And DeBarge had said, yeah, we're concentrating on beating Texas. That's what we thought we should have beaten them last year. We didn't. Can't change that. So we're concentrating on beating Texas. So that was brought up. The Peyton Powell is the first I've heard of it. Yeah, because he just said it like about an hour before. But David Pierce also asked, as well as Peyton Powell, both of them asked the question, does he have to talk to the players? Does Coach Pierce have to talk to the players about focusing on the Ragin' Cajuns and not on the Aggies?
I mean, there's no way you can overlook a really good Lafayette team. I think more than anything, we try to build the environment and just have our team understand, what each team brings, and then the actual environment that we're going to be playing in, and just embrace that.
Yeah. All right. And you can also embrace the fact that Louisiana is seeded higher. They are the number 2 seed. So Coach Pierce was asked, does it help that his team is actually the lower seeded team and can embrace the underdog role?
The benefit is the pressure's not us. That's the main thing, I think. Everyone's expecting A&M to run through this and no problems. So that takes the pressure off of us, and we just get to go out there and play, stick to our plans, and rally behind each other. So,
yeah. So that's what the players have said. Peyton Powell there, and they're not really that concerned about a lot of the other conversation about Texas and Texas A&M. And I'll be honest with you, it would be probably strange not to hear a lot of questions at this regional, in the regional opening press conferences for these teams about the possibility of Texas and Texas A&M. Even Grambling, when they were in the press conference and they were talking about, being this massive underdog, and they are, against the number 3 national seed, Texas A&M. After all, the Tigers were 26-26 this year. They have a team ERA of over 8. Now, they have a team batting average of .313. They swing the bat well. They've got some guys who can hit, but they're a huge underdog. And even in all of that, they're asking about, folks were asking about, the other teams of the regional, and the Tigers were talking, yeah, we understand what our situation is. We know what we have to deal with. So it would not have been, it would have been a little surprising had these players and coaches not been asked about the possibility of Texas and Texas A&M. I mean, that's just going to be natural that folks are going to ask that question, that possibility. Speaking of Texas and Texas A&M, the SEC spring meetings are going on, as we know. down in Destin, Florida. And we heard from Longhorns head football coach Steve Sarkisian yesterday. Athletic directors are doing a fair amount of speaking as well. Chris Del Conte, the University of Texas vice president and athletic director, he, along with Joe Castiglione, the Oklahoma athletic director, were on Paul Feinbaum's show yesterday. And so they made their appearance. There's a lot of conversation. Well, Trev Alberts, of course, is the new athletic director here at Texas A&M. He left Nebraska to come to Texas A&M. And Alberts today apparently said in a media briefing that he is not in favor of playing future games against Texas on Thanksgiving Day or night. Of course, the Longhorns and Aggies are scheduled to meet on Saturday, November 30th of Thanksgiving weekend. But for decades, I do mean decades, the game was played on Thanksgiving. In fact, the last time that Texas and Texas A&M played in football, the memorable 2011 game, as I look across the road, across Highway 6 over at Kyle Field, and thinking about Justin Tucker's walk-off field goal in 2011, that was on Thanksgiving night. And they played for many years. They played on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and now it's scheduled for Saturday. And he wants it to stay on Saturday. Now we'll see if that ultimately holds up and is the case. But that was something that the Texas A&M athletic director Trev Alberts said today. He says A&M would not want to play future games against Texas on Thanksgiving Day. All right, coming up next, we're going to hear from some of the Ragin' Cajuns. We'll hear some audio from Louisiana. We'll keep you updated on the Women's College World Series. Duke, on a home run, has taken a 1-0 lead on Oklahoma, and the Blue Devils are batting right now in the top of the second inning. We'll continue from the Brazos Valley, Olsen Field at Bluebell Park, here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Let's be honest, you won't be hoisting a championship trophy anytime soon.
Hail, hail, Michigan, the champions of college football.
But you could still be a winner. Get over to am1300thezone.com and check out the contest page, where we're always giving away cool prizes, including tickets and games, concerts, and events around Austin. Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
If you're anything like our buddy Tom McKay, you may be enjoying the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs these days, or maybe the NBA playoffs, or perhaps Major League Baseball or college baseball happens to be your thing. But Tom and his great people at Audiovisual Consultations can help you enjoy whatever it is you'd like to enhance with your home entertainment system. AV Consultations is one of the largest dealers of most television and audio brands, so the chances are they're going to have or be able to get whatever you need for the entertainment system you've envisioned. You don't have to shop for the TV and the surround sound, not to mention all of the mounts and the equipment needed to make it work. Tom and his guys will handle it. They'll bring over everything needed for your space, and they'll set up all of it for you. Tom's also going to work with you and help you get the system you want while staying within your budget. So why not deck out the man cave, the den, the room where the family and you can spend that quality time with hours of entertainment. The number to call, 512-255-8678. That's 512-255-8678. They're on the web at avconsultations.com. Let Audiovisual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment system of your dreams.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day. But when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
My wife and I are shopping for a new car, and, it could be overwhelming, but it's really not for me. For us, you want to know why? Because we're going with Apple Leasing. They've been around Austin for over 30 years, and they can get any make or any model that we want. Lots of options. It's very easy, too. You can do everything online. Fill out the credit application, sign the papers, all that kind of stuff with one phone call to Apple Leasing, 346-9977. Hey, with a new leased car from Apple Leasing, you know how much you're going to be spending on that car every month. There are no surprises. The car is under warranty, and by the time the lease is up, you don't have to haven't had to put new tires or brakes or anything. So Call Apple Leasing today. The number 346-9977. You can also go to their website, which is appleleasing.com. I've been leasing cars from them for over 20 years. 346-9977.
Let's make Father's Day something this year with the Bartesian Cocktail Maker. It whips up over 60 premium cocktails on demand, each ready at the push of a button. And right now, you get $50 off when you buy one pack of Dad's favorite cocktail capsules. Make Dad's Father's Day by making cocktails with all natural juices and bitters without making any mess at all. Visit BARTESIAN.com/father to get $50 off the best premium cocktail maker for Dad. Bartesian. Premium cocktails on demand.
I'm Ethan Hawke, native Texan, here to talk to you about Texan icons. See, there's one Texas icon that does more for us than any other. A little trash barrel named Daryl. You've seen him on billboards and TV. This trash barrel reminds us to keep our state clean so you don't mess with Texas. Next time you think of Texas icons, remember Daryl the Barrel, who's always reminding you, don't mess with Texas means don't litter. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Everyone knows that Austin Shoe Hospital repairs shoes, but did you know we are also the boot repair experts of Texas? Our master cobblers can recraft your favorite worn-out boots to almost new condition. Austin Shoe Hospital repairs any boot style and all brands. Western boots, custom-made boots, ropers, riding and work boots. There is no boot we cannot restore, men's or ladies. So bring that special pair of boots to Austin Shoe Hospital and let us show you what is possible. Go to austinshoehospital.com for information. If you can wear it, we can repair it.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Hi, I'm Dan Covert with my wife Hayden. Welcome to Covert BK.
Our newest location in the gorgeous Hill Country includes Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and hundreds of pre-owned and certified vehicles for you to choose from. We have 3 service departments that are ready to take care of your car, truck, or SUV with 86 service bays to accommodate any repair and get you in and out quickly. Come visit us today to select the vehicle you've been dreaming about.
Covert, born and raised in Austin.
Thomas J. Henry Law is thrilled to be part of the UT Athletics action on and off season. Just like the athletes give it their all, whether it's during practice or in the heat of the game, Thomas J. Henry and over 250 attorneys give it their all when it comes to helping you and your family get the justice you deserve. Whether it's on the court or in the courtroom, dedication, strategy, and teamwork are so crucial. For over 30 years, Thomas J. Henry Law has been committed to securing meaningful results for the injured people and their families. Visit TJHLaw.com or call 24/7 to get the help you need for you and your loved ones.
All the good stuff. Yeah. Camps keeps you on top of pop culture.
Deadpool is clearly a hit with audiences, with its 3rd movie adaptation out this summer, and now a film based on another character from Deadpool's co-creator is in development. Margot Robbie is set to star in a film based on Aggieland, an angel who battles evil demons and monsters, originally co-created by Rob Liefeld in 1995. Olivia Wilde of Booksmart and Don't Worry Darling fame is on board to direct, with Robbie's company Lucky Chap producing. There were previous attempts to bring Aggieland to the silver screen in 2013 and 2016, but with the involvement of Robbie and Wilde, who are both riding high right now, observers note that this may be the version that finally breaks through. In the meantime, Wilde's next film is a holiday-themed comedy Naughty, described as Bridesmaids at the North Pole and also produced by Robbie's company, currently in pre-production, while Deadpool and Wolverine is set for release on July 26th. All right, and that's what's poppin'. I'm Camps on iHeartRadio.
Listen to Mike Hardball Harsh, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Welcome back to the Craig Way Show and the voice of the Longhorns, Craig Way. Follow Craig on social media at Horn Voice.
Yeah, well, maybe something, a little Louisiana swamp theme to it. That's a good idea here on a Thursday afternoon. It is, after all, the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana, whom the Longhorns will face tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, and you'll hear it on 103.1 FM, Austin's 80s station, as well as online at texassports.com and the Texas Longhorns app. You can connect to it through the iHeartRadio app as well. Louisiana is 40-18 going into that. They won the Sun Belt Conference regular season at 23-7, but went 2 in barbecue. They got knocked out on 2 straight, just like the Longhorns did in their conference tournament. So it was for the Cajuns in Montgomery, Alabama at the Sun Belt tournament. Now, Louisiana is coached by Matt Deggs. He's in his 5th season there in Lafayette as the coach. Did a great job following David Pierce at Sam Houston State, and then moving over to Lafayette, where he's won 158 games against 97 losses at Louisiana, and 345 games against 215 overall as the head coach of the Cajuns. Now, Deggs perhaps surprised an individual or two at the news conference today when he was asked about his starting pitcher, and he had said that he was going to go with a senior right-hander in Carson Fluno. It's not like Fluno is somebody that he just, pulled off the bottom of the roster. The guy, after all, it will be making his 17th start of the year, and or his 14th start of the year and his 17th appearance of the year. And the guy has a 4-0 record and a 2.94 ERA. It's just, I think a lot of folks thought that maybe he might go with the left-handers, either Andrew Herman or Chase Morgan, but he's not. He's going with the senior right-hander from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, Carson Fluno. That will be his starting pitcher. So let's hear from Matt Deggs from the news conference. First, Coach Deggs' opening comments about getting his Cajuns ready to play here in College Station.
Really, really proud to be here and back in Aggieland, and we were here 2 years ago. I thought we played extremely well in the Miami Regional a year ago. It was a great jumping off point for our ball club. In August, we returned a good mix of guys that had a lot of experience, and so had just a tremendous 56-game regular season full of just lifetime memories and a lot of firsts, and we checked a lot of boxes. We wanted to get in the top 25. We've been able to do that for the last 8 weeks. Wanted to get in the top 40 in the RPI. We were certainly able to do that, and wanted to get to 40 wins more than anything before the regular season. And this group was able to do that, and then win our league. That's always first and foremost. And 5th-rated league in America, and to win it by 3 games, 23-7 overall. I thought was just one heck of a season for these young men, and an opportunity to be one of the 64 teams left that's got a chance to get to Omaha. And this will be a great regional. A&M's got as good a ball club as they've had. I don't want to use the word ever, but maybe. We had certainly had some great teams. There was great teams before we were here, but this team looks really, really good on paper. Texas is Texas, and obviously both those teams have great coaching staffs and really, really good players. Texas has grinded all year, and they've got some toughness to them. They've got great makeup, even though they've got some younger hitters. They're super talented, and as with both teams, and they're all going to be talented on the mound. We played Grambling earlier in the year, and they do a great job. They're hot right now, and they're playing with a nothing to lose attitude, which is always dangerous. So I'm just proud to be here with this group of young men. This is one of my favorite teams I've ever had, and it starts with these 2 guys right here, Kyle DeBarge and LP Longvin. So with that, I'll open it up. Anybody have any questions?
Well, the questions that came for him started off, again, with this business of Louisiana being a number 2 seed. But is it possible to be a number 2 seed and be overlooked, maybe in a regional where you have headline names like Texas A&M and Texas and the rivalry, and a lot of folks looking forward to the possibility and prospect of those 2 teams matching up with one another? So as a result of that, Coach Deggs was asked, does he feel his team is being overlooked a little bit?
That's fine with us. We're not looking to put a target on our back by any stretch. Although they might not have won a conference title, we got to put that in perspective with the 2 leagues that they're in the SEC and the Big 12. When you look at the leagues, SEC, ACC, Big 12, Big 10 and us, and you can separate Big 10 and us by, I'm not good at fractions, but I think it's like 1,000th of a whatever. And so 4th, 5th best league in America. And those 2 leagues up top, those 3 leagues up top are certainly great leagues as well. And I don't think you can put any stock in that. Postseason baseball always comes down to who gets hot at the right time, who can score, who can make pitches, and who can make big plays and ride that momentum to the finish line. And been a part of teams that have done it, been a part of teams that have come up short in that quest. But anytime you're still playing this time of year, you've got a puncher's chance, and that goes for everybody. Everybody's going to be 0-0 coming into tomorrow. But you're exactly right. 2 good teams, 2 great teams, really, and great histories behind them as well.
Yeah, so that's what the looking for is there. Now, again, to Deggs' decision on his starting pitcher, and instead of going with the 2 left-handers, he goes with the senior right-hander, and asked, again, by our good friend Danny Davis, the Austin American statesman, about his strategy for his rotation this weekend.
Our starter is going to be Carson Fluno. He's probably our hottest guy coming in, and he's a senior. He's got big game experience. It's not a definitive rotation, I think, for anybody this time of year. I think you got to adjust and adapt. You've got to look at the matchups, look at the teams, really and truly, and look at who's fully healthy and able to give you some innings and get you off to a great start. And so that's kind of the way we approach it. It's just a game plan. If you look at Bill Belichick and the Patriots, they didn't have a definitive offense. They had a game plan, and it was based on who they're playing week to week. And that's kind of the same thing this time of year. It's who you're playing, what are their numbers, what are their splits, and what do we have available. And so the way I look at a regional or a tournament or anything, you got to do whatever it takes to try to get that first one. And that's what we'll do. I think Carson will get us off to a good start. He's going to have to. They're going to throw Grubbs, I believe, and that young man's pound for pound been one of their top arms all year, sinker slider guy that can really pitch.
It's funny in hearing him talk about that, and how all roads, Cameron Parker, seem to lead back to Bill Belichick, right? You talked about Bill Belichick, mentioned all roads lead back to Bill Belichick, which makes you happy because you want Bill Belichick to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys still, right?
Wow. How did you turn Louisiana baseball into Belichick being the next Cowboys head coach?
Listen, he's the one who brought up Belichick. Now, I do have some Cowboy news I'm going to get to next hour. One more comment from Matt Deggs. This is about the mindset he wants his team to have this weekend in this regional.
It's like I said, it's kind of like the pitching. It's what the game presents, and the better the competition, the fewer and further between those opportunities are, and the hardest space to steal is first. And so we've got to do a really good job of grinding out at bats, finding ways to reach base, execute, and get big 2-out knocks. That's always our formula. I think the aggression is based on where you're at in the game and who's at the dish, who's on base, but more than anything, your personnel. Last year, we stole 166 bags and set a record. This year, we have 100 fewer than that, and that's just based on our personnel and our identity. We've been able to swing the bats extremely well this year, starting with this guy, and anytime you got this guy on your team, you got a shot. So we're known for being aggressive, and I think that reputation can kind of follow you a little bit, and maybe it applies pressure even when there might not be any there. I don't know. We are aggressive team just by nature, though. We're going to play fast, hard, and loose.
Think about that for a moment. He said they've stolen 100 fewer bases this year than last year. And they've stolen 25 more than the Longhorns have this year. They've stolen 66 bases. They stole 166 last year. They swing the bat a lot better than they did a year ago. We're going to hear when he was referring to this guy. There's a guy that's Kyle DeBarge, the shortstop, who is the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. We're going to hear from Kyle DeBarge next hour, as well as hearing from Longhorn players as well. Some notes on the Cowboys and some other things to get to. Duke's still up 1-0 on Oklahoma as the Blue Devils bat in the top of the third. They got out of a tough situation, a jam in the bottom of the second against the Sooners. So it's 1-0 Duke at the Women's College World Series. Texas due to play at 6 o'clock tonight against Stanford. And that contest can be heard certainly online at texassports.com, and you can connect to it through the iHeartRadio app and on the Texas Longhorns app. We'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 of the program from College Station on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Text Texas, followed by your message to 81530 to chat along with your favorite sports radio AM 1300 The Zone hosts. That's Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford, doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, more than 5,000 people died in workplace accidents in 2019 alone. Thomas J. Henry handles serious workplace accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Visit tjhlaw.com/radio. San Antonio, Texas.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have, because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
In this week's Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, Chief Marketing Officer of Hyundai Motor America, talks about audio storytelling.
For an auto brand, a lot of people scratch their heads and say, why would you put your brand on a channel that doesn't show the sheet metal? But there's a lot we can talk about these vehicles that gets people excited about the car. And it's more than just the sheet metal. It really is about lifestyle in a lot of ways. For us, it's about storytelling. That's driving a lot of brand awareness, but we can also drive a lot of intent. And that's because we can talk a lot about the features. I think we're learning that we can get a lot more from audio.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all, from national to local. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a media company. iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com. That's iHeartResults.com.
In the market for a wood fence, whether you choose Viking Fence or someone else for your project, the pros at Viking Fence have built a How to Buy a Fence guide to ensure you get the best value for your dollar. Is your contractor specifying the exact grade of red cedar? If not, he may be substituting a lower grade that costs less. Is your contractor specifying treated pine posts and rails? Treated pine is cheaper than cedar or steel posts and prone to twisting. Did your contractor specify what grade of fastener they are using? Lower grade of nails and screws will rust and stain your new fence in a matter of weeks. Is your contractor specifying steel posts? Did they specify the thickness of steel? Thin gauge steel posts are prone to breaking under heavy winds. To learn more, visit our How to Buy a Fence pages on VikingFence.com. When you think fence, think Viking.
The free iHeart app has over 100 commercial-free stations like Real Fun Beach Radio. Real Fun Beach Radio gives you that toes in the sand beach music vibe 24/7. Just open the app, search Real Fun Beach Radio, and start listening. iHeart Radio. Free never sounded so good.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories and experience the ultimate level of flexibility with the Spurs 2024-25 ticket membership. With this membership, you will receive exclusive access, unlock member-only events, fan shop discounts, and a host of other incredible perks. Reserve your seat with a 2024-25 ticket membership. Text SPURS to 210-444-5050 or visit spurs.com/memberships for more info. Season presented by HEB.
Imagine a world where animals and humans coexist in harmony, where wild animals thrive, habitats are protected, and marginalized communities are empowered. At International Animal Rescue, this is our vision. Our holistic, community-led projects not only rescue animals, but also protect and replenish precious habitats, creating a better future for us all. But we can't do this without you. Show your support now and help keep the wild, wild. Visit internationalanimalrescue.org.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studio, this is KVET AM Austin, AM 1300 The Zone. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports, podcasts, and music.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Listen to Mike Hardball Harsh, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Two hours of the program in the book. The first hour, we brought you that special softball Women's College World Series preview program with Andrew Haynes. Andrew, quick travel, right? Up in Oklahoma City. He'll be ready to call the game tonight at 6 o'clock as Texas will play Stanford. And again, so far, the tournament is on schedule, on time. But we'll keep you updated on that Duke-Oklahoma contest as well. We'll do that. Also, coming up here in this final hour of the program, some Dallas Cowboys information. Also, kickoff times. We've got those for a couple more games for the Longhorns. So you'll want to know those. And we'll hear more from Longhorn players from the press conference here at Bluebell Park, also from Louisiana, and yes, from the Aggies of Texas A&M. All of that and more coming up as we bring you the final hour of the program from here at Bluebell Park in the Brazos Valley on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studio, this is KVET AM Austin, AM 1300 The Zone. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports, podcasts, and music. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Final hour of the program from here in College Station on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Craig Way with you alongside the producer, Cameron Parker. And we're at Bluebell Park, Olson Field at Bluebell Park. It used to be called Pat Olson Field. By the way, Pat Olson was a former teammate and roommate of none other than Babe Ruth at one point, and historical figure in Aggie lore with regard to baseball. But it was renamed Bluebell Park because the little creamery in Brenham really came through with a big sponsorship back in 2012. And that was when they completely remodeled this ballpark. We were kind of out amongst the people when we used to broadcast the games, kind of like we are still have been in Fort Worth for games at TCU. You're basically some table setup that are right in the middle of the stands of the upper deck in Fort Worth at Lupton Stadium. And it was the same here for many years in College Station. Now, in 2012, again, they completely remodeled this. They added suites and a lot of things and a nice broadcast booth and press box as well. So it's a little bit different here. But the seating is virtually the same. And as we all know, it'll be a very, very loud, boisterous environment. It is kind of an interesting thing in that Texas A&M is going to play the first game. And in a lot of the regionals, not all of them, but in a lot of the regionals, the host of the regional likes to play the primetime game. A little cooler in the evening. They get the big fan turnout. But as you can imagine, it would be, the Aggies are going to turn out well anyway. In fact, I want, Cameron, let's let folks hear from Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach of Texas A&M, because he was asked about that very subject, that the whole thing about wanting to play the first game instead of the night game on the first day of the regional. This is Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach of Texas A&M, and his reasoning and thought process behind why the Aggies are playing the early game, the noon game tomorrow instead of the 5 o'clock game.
Yeah, the thought process, there's obviously, two sides to it, but mainly I feel like, number one, the 12th man is going to show up whenever we play. And certainly that may inconvenience some people because it's during a weekday while people are still working. But my job is to give our team the best chance to be successful. And we feel like that playing the day game, number one, it gives you, whether you win or lose, you get more recovery time before the next day, whether you play in the loser's game or the winner's bracket game. And then also with weather, your game's the first game to get in. And I've been in regionals that the first game got in, but the second game didn't. And that creates a big problem. So on the flip side of that, I would much rather play Texas A&M during a day game than a night game because the crowd seems to get a little more they're a little more lubed up and ready to go. But I believe in the 12th man. I think they'll show up. And so at the end of the day, I have to do what's best for our players to get them ready for the next day.
Like his choice of the words there, a little more lubed up. I completely agree with him. I think Aggie fans are going to show up if they played at 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, at noon or at midnight. It's the same thing with Longhorn baseball fans. They're going to show up whatever time the game is going to be, especially when it comes to NCAA tournament play. And so that's part of his reason. And let's face it, it's not as hot at noon up till 3 as it is at 5 up until 8. It'll cool off in the later evening, obviously, when Texas plays Louisiana. But they're going to, in Texas, the hottest part of the day is right around 5 o'clock. Remember, Cameron, growing up in North Carolina, I learned this at a very early age, and I bet you did as well, that the hottest part of the day in North Carolina is not 5 in the afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You remember that growing up in Charlotte? Maybe the humidity had something to do with that.
Yeah, no, it was always like that, and it's so different than it is here in Texas.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously the heat continues to build up, and right now here it still shows 95 degrees, and it was at 95 an hour ago, so it may actually even go up another degree before it hits to 5 o'clock when this program reaches its conclusion. All right, that's one comment from Jim Schlossnagle. I want to get to another one where he was asked about his starting pitcher, because we've heard from David Pierce in his reasoning behind going with Max Grubbs and how he sets up the rotation for the weekend. We've heard from Matt Deggs, the head coach at Louisiana, and Coach Deggs making the decision not to go with one of the left-handers everybody thought that he might go with, but instead his senior right-hander Carson Fluno will be his choice for the ball game. And so let's hear from Jim Schlossnagle, who Schloss thinks he will hand the ball to the starter, and how he sets his rotation for the weekend.
Tanner Jones will be the starting pitcher tomorrow. And then the formula is to try to give our team the best chance to win the tournament. Plain and simple, that's it. And so a lot goes into that. Matchups, does the other team have somebody that can be real tough that you have to pitch against? Just basically that, it's give us the best chance to win the entire tournament. And so that'll be a day-to-day thing. But right now, Tanner's going to start the first game.
Yeah. So he'll start, and it's not like, again, it's somebody who hasn't pitched. He's a regular starter for the Aggies, but I think it's safe to say he's the number 3 starter. 3-1 in a 6.70 ERA. He'll be making his 12th start and his 14th appearance of the season, and he will probably save his ace, Ryan Prager, for the winner's bracket game on Saturday night. He also has Justin Lampkin available to him as a starter. Shane Sadeo's got him as well, but probably Sadeo would be out of the pen. Sadeo's only made 3 starts, so he would probably be out of the pen. Prager would probably be the Saturday starter for Texas A&M. So there's some thought process on that. At the Women's College World Series, Kinsey Hansen has just hit a 2-run homer for Oklahoma. Sooners have grabbed a 2-1 lead on Duke, and that game is in the bottom of the 3rd inning on the first day of the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. Texas is due to play at 6 o'clock this evening, their first game, as the Longhorns will be taking on Stanford. Texas, the number 1 overall seed, Stanford, the number 8. By the way, Oklahoma is the number 2 seed. And if you think, incidentally, that Texas and Oklahoma would not meet all the way until the finals, no. In Oklahoma City, they do the brackets much like they used to do in Omaha years ago. They flip-flop brackets once you get into elimination games, so teams can see different teams. So it is possible that Texas could play Oklahoma prior to a national championship matchup if both wound up in elimination games as well. So that would be one possibility also. We mentioned that the Mavericks and Timberwolves play tonight, and that's going to be Game 5 at the Target Center in Minneapolis. Now, Cam, you said last hour you don't think that momentum has completely departed the Mavericks yet. Obviously, if Minnesota wins, they would have a huge momentum boost. They'd pull them back to 3-2. They would have to win another road game in Dallas. But we're seeing it more this year, Cam, in the NBA, more so than we've ever seen it. It resembles much more the NHL, with the road team getting victories, even with Edmonton, even in its series with Dallas last night.
Yeah, it's true, but we still have never seen a team come back from 3-0. I mean, even in Game 4, Craig, still kind of felt like, okay, Luka and Kyrie are going to find out a way to win this game. I felt like the Mavs were still going to win that game despite Anthony Towns knocking down clutch shots. And even when Luka got fouled in that 3-pointer and missed the 3 throw, I thought, okay, it could be a 2-point game here, a 3-point game here, depending on what happens to the other line. And of course, he missed a free throw and it didn't end up mattering. But I mean, I think you expect, one of these guys just to not have their A game. And that's what it felt like on the Mavericks side. And for the Timberwolves, their best guy stepped up. But what they've been able to do against the Mavericks, against Timberwolves, all series long. I mean, what helped Minnesota against Denver, Craig, was, they were able to, defensively trap Jokic. Those passes on the baseline just weren't there. The lobs to Aaron Gordon. But in this series, Minnesota, instead of taking away the pick and roll, they're trying to take away the three-pointer. And while they do that, what happens is it opens up the baskets. Why Dallas has had a million different slam dunks off lobs in this series. They're so consumed with not giving up the corner three that what they're doing is allowing so many points in the paint. And when you allow guys like Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving the ability to come off that screen and get into the paint and have the ability to either shoot, pass, or do whatever, those are two of the best basketball players on the planet, not only at scoring, but also at passing. And I don't think Minnesota has solved that this series. I don't know if they can, even with Rudy Gobert on the court and off the court. I just don't know they can do anything, and that's why I still think Mavericks can win this series. Now, of course, you're playing back at Game 5 home, but we saw Dallas win games 1 and 2 in Minnesota, so I'm not sure that home court advantage really matters for Minnesota. Would not be surprised if Dallas just goes out there and Luka and Kyrie again have big crunch times, because they've been doing it all playoffs long.
Well, they certainly did it in the first 2 games at Target Center. We'll see how it goes tonight. All right, up next, we're going to hear some more from Longhorn players here in College Station. And also a couple more kickoff times for Texas football. One of those may surprise you. And also a little bit of some Dallas Cowboys speculation. We'll get to that and more when we continue from here. Bluebell Park in College Station is the site of the NCAA Bryan College Station Regional. That's how it's officially classified. And Texas will take on Louisiana tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. Our pregame coverage begins at 4:45 on 103.1 FM, Austin's 80s station. But we'll hear from Longhorn players coming up as we continue the program from here at Bluebell Park on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone and the iHeartRadio app.
Voice your opinion by using the iHeartRadio app talkback feature while listening to Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Your hot and cold takes need to be heard somewhere. If you send a great one, you might just hear yourself on the air.
The Home Depot has Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances from top brands like Samsung. Wash and dry in one cycle with the Samsung Ultra Capacity All-in-One Washer-Dryer Combo from the Home Depot. Then enjoy your summer while your laundry takes care of itself. Right now, get Memorial Day savings up to $500 off select laundry appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid May 16th through June 5th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
If you are an adult who has a disability or you're age 65 or older, you deserve a health plan that covers more than just medical services. You deserve whole person care to help you thrive. A Star Plus managed care plan from United Healthcare provides benefits like no-cost prescription delivery and rides to doctor visits, so you can focus on what matters. Ready to join our Star Plus plan? Call the Texas Enrollment Broker Helpline at 1-800-964-2777 or log on to yourtexasbenefits.com and choose United Healthcare.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that solar energy gives you independence from utilities and helps keep your energy costs down? Why not get a free estimate with locally owned Divided Sky Roofing and Solar? You can get more information at mydividedsky.com. That's mydividedsky.com.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way literally clear the way for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage.
Life moves fast. No one has time for a car, truck wreck, or commercial vehicle accident. At Davis Law Firm, we get it. When you call the force, you don't have to worry about insulting offers from insurance adjusters, property damage, or car rental. We recently settled a wrongful death case in a commercial vehicle accident for $5 million. Net to clients was $2.8 million. I'm Jeff Davis. If you were in a car, truck wreck, or hit by a commercial vehicle, call me at 444-4444. What for? Call the Fours. Attorney consultation by appointment only. Davis Law Firm, Austin, San Antonio. Davis Law Firm is a proud official partner, personal injury attorney of the San Antonio Spurs.
This report brought to you by Country Music Live at the Round Rock Amp. Get more details at roundrockamp.com.
Happy Thursday. Let's take a look at 183. We do have an accident southbound before Mopac. Traffic is slow from Duval, about a 20-minute delay. I'm Kat Cortez with a look at your Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Randall's. Save on all your favorite items at Randall's. This week at Randall's, get large mangoes or medium Hass avocados for 77 cents each. Plus, get fresh boneless, skinless chicken breasts or thighs or pork sirloin chops for $1.97 per pound with Randall's For You digital coupon.
I'm Julian Edelman from Games with Names, and we're on the search to find the greatest games of all time with the players and coaches who lived in them. Ever wonder what a locker room feels like at a halftime of a Super Bowl? Or what about the after parties? We're going to dive deep into the most iconic games with the most iconic people. New episodes dropping weekly. Listen to Games with Names on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
There was a murder in central Ohio that many people still don't want to talk about. The man who committed that crime once sat on death row, but now he's on the run. His name is Lester Eubanks. Lester didn't tunnel out of prison or scale a stone wall. On a December morning in 1973, he and a small group of inmates were granted permission to walk outside prison walls. His handcuffs were taken off. He changed into civilian clothing, and he and 3 others were driven to a local mall. They were told they could wander the stores and were asked to return to a designated meeting spot. Hours later, all the inmates came back, except Lester Eubanks, and he hasn't been seen since.
He had a full plan. The guy had a plan.
I was just astounded that this could actually happen.
There were many years when it seemed like no one was even looking for Lester. But recently, his whereabouts have become the focus of the U.S. Marshal Service, the federal agents who track fugitives. The case is testing the marshals.
Those 9 lives are running out, and we're going to catch up with Lester.
And is being urged on by those hurt most by Lester's crime.
He's had enough free time. He confessed to the crime, and his time is up.
I'm Sunny Hostin with ABC News. Over the past year, a team from the ABC News investigative unit joined the search for Lester Eubanks. They uncovered new leads, possible sightings, and at every turn found resistance from those who want Lester Eubanks to be forgotten. What they've uncovered is a case that's about more than murder. It's about family loyalty, a life on the run, and a first-hand look at how the U.S. Marshals are trying to solve one of the oldest fugitive cases in American history. Now they may be closer than ever. From ABC News.
Have you seen this man?
Have you seen this man?
If you have seen this man.
Have you seen this man?
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
It's the Hard Knocks Life Show with Mike Harge, weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. Sports Radio AM 1300, The Zone. We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
That was
It's one of my favorite Tom Petty tracks of all time, Louisiana Rain. I always enjoyed that. It might be one of the more underrated ones. I don't know, coming off of that album, but always enjoyed that. Of course, it is Texas playing Louisiana. They had rain last year when Texas played Louisiana in Coral Gables in the regional. It was a delayed start. Every game was affected by rain, either rain interrupted or rain delayed before it even started. That happened last year. Don't know that that'll happen this year, although I will tell you, just as it isn't, look, I'm only 95 miles to the east of you. So the chances of rain in the greater Austin area are requisite to the chances of rain here in the Brazos Valley. It could rain tomorrow before, during, or after either of the two games. So that's the one thing we just, keep everything on a swivel and hope for the best. Longhorns getting ready for this deal. Max Grubbs will be the starting pitcher. Remember, Max did not pitch in Arlington last week. His last outing was the Thursday night game against Kansas on the 16th. So it will actually be 15 days since he will have pitched the game. Now, he's had work on the side, obviously, and have had simulated work and things like that. But he hasn't pitched in a competitive game. He will not have pitched in a competitive game in 15 days. So, he was asked at the press conference today, has that rest helped him? And what overall has helped him become one of the more stabilizing forces on the mound for the Longhorns?
For the rest part, I definitely think it was beneficial. It's a whole new role this year for me, so my body took a little toll, but getting the rest this weekend was huge, and I'm ready to go. And then what's working is just really sticking to my strengths: sinker, slide, attacking people, just being in the strike zone and making them beat me rather than giving up free bases.
That's one comment from me. Here's another one. This was a question that I asked Max, because if you know anything about Max, you know that the secret to his success is sinker slider. It's being able to keep the ball down. So the question that I asked Grubbs was, how important is it to do that against a team like Louisiana that has a lot more power this year than they've had in the past? The Cajuns this year have hit 75 home runs, and they bat right around 300, 299 to be exact, as a team. So that was a question that I asked Grubbs, is how important is it for him to be able to man control of the sinker slider and to keep the ball down?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, keeping the ball down in the zone is what plays dividends for me. Coach and I talk about it, if the ball gets up, it's usually not good for me. So seeing this team is a little more juicy, you could say, than last year. They've got some more power. It's really just going to be important keeping that ball down in the zone, off the fat of the bat, we say.
Yeah, off the fat of the bat, how important that it is to do that. David Pierce was asked also, how confident is he about his team being able to bounce back? Because throughout the course of the season, as we know, and I think it was our friend Jeff Barker at KI who asked this question, when the Longhorns have gotten knocked down, they've been able to pick themselves up, dust themselves off, and go back to work and have success on the field. Well, here they are in a situation of having been knocked down, having dropped 2 in a row in Arlington. Their time of the Big 12 Conference tournament done. So it'll be their first game for Texas since May 22nd, their first game in 9 days. And now these games are really, really important in the NCAA tournament. So how confident is David Pierce that this team can once again bounce back?
Well, I just believe it goes back to the guys in the clubhouse and the team leadership. I believe it goes back to the standards that we set at the University of Texas, and I believe it goes back to our in-house culture. And our work is good. The belief in each other is good. So I think adversity makes you stronger, and we've had our share of it. We've been on the bad side of some games that felt like got away from us. But at the same time, it's a long season, and we always want to be good early and the best we can be and be great late. So I don't know what to predict. I can tell you I feel confident that our players are going to go out and play really well together.
Yeah. All right. So that confidence thing was also asked. This was another question from Danny Davis from the Statesman about his catchers, because the importance of being able to beat Louisiana is to control their offense. Now, it starts obviously with the power, with the 75 home runs. And even though the Cajuns have stolen 100 fewer bases this year, 66 as opposed to 166 a year ago, still 66 stolen bases demonstrates that they will put the running game in motion. We had Ty Harrington on with us this week, a couple of days ago, talking about that, how they will run, they will bunt, they will hit and run, they will steal bases, all that sort of thing. So Coach Pierce was asked about his confidence level in both Ryland Galvan and Kimball Schuessler to be able to help contain that part of Louisiana's offense.
Well, they can only do so much, so it's dependent on the pitching staff as well as the catchers. But they have 66 stolen bases. They have the ability to steal more if you allow them to. But I think what you have to really understand is the ball in play. Not allowing them go first to third, scoring from first base, so taking care of the baseball and making it a lot more of a 90-foot game as opposed to additional bases. So it goes back to really good defense. From the pitching staff, they have to protect our catchers. And it doesn't matter if both of our catchers can throw, but if you're 1-4 beyond that to the plate, guys are going to run on you. So multiple timings, multiple looks, and having the ability to manage that, but also understand that you can't take away from that mitt. So the ability to peripherally handle the running game, but to stay focused on your best pitch is the key.
Well, you heard him say, for those who didn't know what he meant when he says if you're 1-4, if you're beyond 1-4, what he's talking about is the pitcher taking 1.4 seconds or longer to come home, his pitch to the plate. If that movement takes longer than 1.4 seconds, it makes it a lot more difficult for the catcher to throw out a would-be base stealer. So that's what he meant by one. If they're 1-4 or more, then it's going to be very, very difficult. So a good movement to the bag to keep the runner close is important, and a good throw from the catcher is important. But a good move to the plate, a speedy move, a fast move, is really paramount for a pitcher, because ultimately a lot of it falls on his shoulders to help control the opponent's running game. And finally, there is the Aggieland factor. Texas will be playing in a regional here for the first time ever. If you've ever been over here for a baseball game, I will tell you, and I know, trust me, I've called enough of football games across the street at Kyle Field, even though I haven't done one since 2011. But I know what that environment's like. It's incredible. But it's pretty special here in this ballpark when you are facing Texas A&M. Now, the Longhorns aren't facing Texas A&M tomorrow. They're facing Louisiana. They have to win that game, in all probability, before they even get to play the Aggies, who probably will handle their business against Grambling. Not 100%. 4 seeds have beaten 1 seeds in the past. David Pierce will tell you, when he was on the Rice staff, when they were the defending national champions, they lost to Texas Southern, another SWAC opponent, in their first game. So upsets can and do happen, but the expectation is that Texas A&M, the number 3 overall national seed, will handle its business and will win its game, the noon game. So the Longhorns will have to beat Louisiana, if you follow that line of thinking, in order to play Texas A&M. But is there added pressure playing here in this ballpark? Is there added energy that derives from playing at Bluebell Park, especially if you are facing Texas A&M?
Oh, I think it's energy, 100% energy. Pressure is what you kind of make of it. And I think you feel more pressure when you don't prepare. And I believe in our preparation. So if a kid is playing in any part of this regional and they're not a little nervous, there's something wrong. So you're going to have to not allow your knees to knock and catch your breath, but that also goes back to your mental prep. It goes back to your breathing, your relaxation, and trying to get yourself in your best spot to be your best and compete. So I just think there's a ton of energy for our team coming into this, and we're trying to stay away from, being a 3 seed, trying to stay away from, going to, a rival regional. We just want to go out there and play our best baseball.
And if they do that, they have a chance to win, even against a really good Louisiana team tomorrow. All right, there's some from the Texas side. We'll hear a little more from Louisiana coming up. But a couple of Longhorn kickoff notes to let you know. Cam, you said to me a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about 11 a.m. kickoffs, and you mentioned OU, and I said, I'm hearing something different. But something different happened. 2:30 for the OU game this year. 2:30.
And quite the outrage.
Is there a lot of people upset about that?
From social media, from what I've read on social media now, that that could just be doesn't really mean anything, but it seems like some fans are upset. Other fans are like, okay, I'm myself, Craig. It's like, okay, I don't think I'm heavy. It has to be 11 o'clock. It has to be. I'm okay with it 2:30. I'm okay with it if it was 6:30. To be honest with you. Of course, it wouldn't work out at the Cotton Bowl, but
yeah, that won't happen. That I can safely predict won't happen. Not as long as that game is in Fair Park, and it's going to be in Fair Park for the foreseeable future. That they will not play a night game at Fair Park. But 2:30, absolutely, I'm all for it. And I know I speak from my own personal interest on that as well. 11 a.m. You got to get to the stadium real early in the morning, and especially if you come off a television show the night before, it makes it even earlier. But I've never been a big fan of 11 a.m. kickoffs anyway. I know they what they're there for television. Obviously, the Michigan game is going to be 11 a.m. So I understand. But I'm all about the 2:30 kickoff for that. And the UTSA game kickoff time announced for that, it'll be 6 o'clock in the evening for that one. So to know on September 21st, that one will be the case there. All right, coming up, the much promised and ballyhoo Dallas Cowboys information for you. Coming up as we continue from Bluebell Park here in College Station on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Let's be honest, you won't be hoisting a championship trophy anytime soon.
Hail, hail, Michigan, the champions of college football.
The Texas Rangers win the World Series. But you could still be a winner. Get over to am1300thezone.com and check out the contest page, where we're always giving away cool prizes, including tickets and games, concerts, and events around Austin. Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Listen to Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, you ready? You want to do this?
On your mobile phone, and take us wherever you go.
Let's go.
Like to your kid's soccer game, the PTA meeting, your local sports bar, and the trip to pick up your dry cleaning. Just download the free iHeartRadio app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be fun.
And search for AM 1300 The Zone. From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Austin area weather calling for scattered thunderstorms early this evening, mainly cloudy later on with a chance for a few showers, a low of 72. Tomorrow, a chance of afternoon showers. Highs are going to be in the mid to upper 80s, a low of 75 tomorrow night.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's Memorial Day sale is here. Save up to $500 on select adjustable bed sets like the all-new Temper Adapt collection with advanced pressure relief to help reduce aches and pains. Plus, get a $300 instant gift for pillows and more. Hurry into Mattress Firm today.
Look at all the complaints that our competitors have on their BBB ratings. GimmeTheVin.com is a 5-star rated company. We do what we say we're going to do. It's that easy.
Sell us your car. GimmeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Imagine a world where animals and humans coexist in harmony, where wild animals thrive, habitats are protected, and marginalized communities are empowered. At International Animal Rescue, this is our vision. Our holistic, community-led projects not only rescue animals, but also protect and replenish precious habitats, creating a better future for us all. But we can't do this without you. Show your support now and help keep the wild, wild. Visit internationalanimalrescue.org.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The free iHeart app has over 100 commercial-free stations like Real Fun Beach Radio. Real Fun Beach Radio gives you that toes in the sand beach music vibe 24/7. Just open the app, search Real Fun Beach Radio, and start listening. iHeart Radio. Free never sounded so good.
You know a spot, but not just a spot. The spot. Actually, with the 2023 Nissan Frontier, you know a bunch of them. But the key to these great spots? Being able to reach them in the first place. Your spot is out there. Find your Frontier in the 2023 Nissan Frontier with standard 310 horsepower, advanced tech, and 281 pound-feet of torque.
Live to back the silver and black? Make your fandom for real by joining the official Spurs fan club. It's the fastest free way to score exclusive access to all things Spurs. We're talking early access, exclusive giveaways, partner offers, and more. All sent straight to your inbox. To become a member or learn more, visit spurs.com/fan club. Season presented by HEB.
Your garage door won't go up or down, so give us a call. We're all over town. Promise to you is honest and fair. The real Cedar Park overhead doors. The garage door on your house needs repairs. Call Cedar Park Doors and we'll be there. We'll get there fast and we'll treat you fair. Call Cedar Park Overhead Doors.
When is a garage door emergency repair truly an emergency? When it happens to you, of course. When you need a repair done fast, trust the experts to get it done now. Call the real Cedar Park Overhead Doors. Trust our family to fix it right the first time. For over 30 years, when our phone rings, we're ready to serve all your garage door needs. So when that spring goes sprung or you forget to open the door when backing out, we'll be there for you. Customer first, that's honest and fair. We're here for you 24 hours a day and online at cedarparkgaragedoors.com.
We work really hard while the other guy snores. Happy customers, we have more. We'll get it right and we'll get the job done. For Cedar Park Overhead Doors. 335-7441.
Get more of this May from Still GMC in Round Rock. When you hear you'll get a real deal at Still GMC, you have my word on it. Hi, I'm Steve David, General Manager of the new Still GMC in Round Rock, and we do mean more. Here is a real deal from Still on a 2024 GMC Canyon Elevation Edition. You can drive it now for $399 a month for 36-month lease. Come see us for all the details. And you won't find any hidden fees or addendums with us. Let me help you find the perfect truck. I've been doing that for just over 30 years now. You'll find a real deal on a new GMC here at Still GMC. Exit 256 in Round Rock or see for yourself at StillGMCRoundRock.com. Get more of this May from Still GMC in Round Rock.
Shoppers first or shoppers last. Get a real deal from Still.
We are professional grade.
The free iHeartRadio app is #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one. Discover a new podcast from our library of over 350,000 titles. Here's an iHeartRadio podcast preview.
A dermatologist to the stars found dead in an apparent suicide, and some are wondering this morning if a parody on a popular Netflix show went too far.
To women who hoped to evade the ticking clock of time, Dr. Brandt was the most potent drug dealer in the world. And the dealer got high on his own supply.
Somebody told me they ran into him. And I said, oh, great. And he said, you wouldn't recognize him, completely different. The hair was blonde. I don't know whether he had any cosmetic surgery over the years. He was very bright. I'd be shocked if he had an A- or a B+ in anything.
This is the true story of how a self-described Jewish kid from Newark willed himself to the top of the $4.7 billion beauty industry. And the story of a sensitive outsider with big intelligence and even bigger ambition.
He was always picked on as a child, the skinny little guy, but with a brain that was beyond. You got to remember, he redesigned himself. He took himself and made Fred Brandt.
From Imperative Entertainment and the team behind Broken Hearts comes a new series that will challenge everything you know about fame, fortune, and the fear of growing old. I'm Justine Harmon, and this is the Baron of Botox.
Listen and follow this podcast for free on the iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
It's the Hard Knocks Life Show. Weekdays 7 to 9 a.m. Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do. And how can I ever change things that I feel?
Continue on this Thursday afternoon from Bluebell Park in College Station, Texas, to play Louisiana in the NCAA Regional Opener tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And you can hear that on 103.1 FM, Austin's 80 station. All right, Cam, I know you always keep an eye on the national scene, especially as it relates to the National Football League. Have you? How big are you into the FPI, the Football Power Index?
For the NFL side of things?
Yeah. How much do you follow that?
I would say a fair amount, but I mean,
Okay.
I do realize from last year, Cowboys were a top team on the analytics side when it came to FPI and all those analytic-based projections and models. So, kind of tells you. So you definitely use that, but also you can rely on the eye test, or in the Cowboys case, the past 20 years test.
Yeah, I always would get a kick out of seeing when there would be a big upset, be it in college football or a big surprise in the NFL, about what the FPI said going into that game, or the percentage of winning when a team was 97% certain to win and it didn't happen or whatever. So these latest FPI rankings have come out. I don't know if you've seen these, but any surprise? And first of all, have you seen them?
I have not.
You
I have not.
Okay. All right. Who would you think in the FPI rankings is the most likely candidate to win the Super Bowl?
I would say San Francisco.
Very good. They are #1. #2?
Kansas City.
Very good. You sure you hadn't seen these?
the last two teams in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not really.
Yeah, right. Super Bowl rematch.
Not crazy.
#3.
Let me think here. Detroit, maybe.
You're close.
Okay.
I'll tell you, they're #4.
Okay.
So you have another shot, another guess at #3?
You can just go ahead and tell me.
Ravens.
Okay.
All right. So Baltimore 3, Detroit 4. Care to tell me who's #5?
If it's the Dallas Cowboys, I'm leaving this room.
It's not.
Okay.
It's the Buffalo Bills. The
Interesting.
Cowboys are #6.
Ugh.
The Cowboys are #6. So I wanted to bring that to your attention. The Cowboys have the 6th highest FPI ranking going into the 2024 season. 6th highest in the NFL. So I'm getting the feeling that you're not buying that.
Can we look at like the past history here of the top teams and how they did? I would love to see that. I would love to know if this is me, this predicts anything or if it predicts nothing.
Okay.
Because I obviously going into this season, if you're like gun to my head, I'm probably going to pick a rematch of Chiefs San Francisco. Those are the two best teams. Now, of course, injuries and whatnot could change that. Maybe Baltimore does sneak in. Maybe Cincinnati does bounce back. Of course, the Bills are there, got a little bit younger on defense. Of course, replacing Stephon Diggs, however, you still have that to sort out. But I wonder how correct are these models? They never do like, hey, here's an article about how the FPI was completely wrong last season. No, it's always about what does the FPI favor in the next year. But that's my FPI rant.
There's not a circling back to it. I agree with you on that. But the Cowboys are the sixth highest rated FPI team going into the 2024 NFL season. Bengals are number 7, Eagles 8, Texans 9, and the Packers finish out the top 10. So yeah, it's interesting to see that. But I wondered, if you would have thought that it would have been that it would have been different. And
actually, Craig, I did find the FBI from last season.
Oh, you did? And where were the Cowboys on that?
The Cowboys going in were number 8. So they actually have gone up this year, which does not actually very surprising. Number 1 last year was the Chiefs. So they did get that right. Eagles ahead of the 49ers, though. Even the Bengals ahead of the 49ers. But, of course, Joe Burrow got injured. So they did predict the Super Bowl champion last year correctly.
Okay. By the way, the most likely Super Bowl matchups, the rematch that we just talked about that could happen, Chiefs 49ers, has the highest likelihood. And you know what that percentage is? 6%. 6. That's it. 6%. And these are the top 10 FPI predicted Super Bowl matchups. Number 1, Chiefs 49ers, 6%. Number 2, Ravens 49ers, a little over 4%. Number 3, Chiefs Lions, which almost happened last year, a little over 4%. Number 4, Chiefs Eagles at 4%. Number 5, Chiefs Cowboys. And that's at 4%. Then you have Bills 49ers, 3%, Ravens Lions, 3%, Bengals 49ers, 3%, Chiefs Packers at 2%, and number 10 is Ravens Cowboys at 2%. So in other words, out of the top 10, while the FPI does have the Cowboys as the 6th most likely team to or the 6th highest rated FPI team, their best Super Bowl percentage is 5th at 4%. And then they only have one other in the top 10, and that's at number 10, a 2% FPI percentage chance to make it to the Super Bowl, and they would play Baltimore. So do you feel a little bit better now since you're talking about 2%?
I feel exactly the same before this segment and after the segment, Craig.
Okay. All right. I did, like I said, it was some interesting notes about that.
I mean, Roger Goodell could come out and be like, hey, we're actually going to rig the league this year in the Cowboys' favor. And I would still be like, yeah, I don't know. Jerry Jones still has some say in this. So I won't believe it until I see it.
Okay. All right. Okay. The most likely NFC, the most likely title game matchups are rematches. Chiefs Ravens, 49ers Lions, both at 9%. Chiefs Bengals at 6%. 49ers Eagles at 8%. Chiefs Bills at 6%. 49ers Cowboys, 8%, Cam. 3rd highest rated possible NFC championship game matchup. The Cowboys, this will be going on 29 years for the Cowboys, not having reached the NFC championship. The last time they did was the 1995 season. So this will be going on 29 years. The last time was the 95 season. This is the 2024. So 29 years ago. That's the last time the Cowboys have even reached the conference championship. Now, they won it that year and won the Super Bowl, ended up winning Super Bowl 30. So that's been the case. But it's been that long since they've even reached the conference championship. Yet, it says the Cowboys are an 8% chance to reach the conference championship. 3rd highest rated, followed by Lions, Eagles at 6%. Lions, Cowboys at 6%. 49ers, Packers at 5%. 49ers, Falcons, 4%. Cowboys, Packers, 3%. Eagles, Packers, 3%. How about this, Cam? At 3%, Eagles, Cowboys in an NFC championship. Wouldn't that be something?
I'll tell you this. There's a higher, in my opinion, there's a higher chance. I know the FPI will say something differently. Higher chance the Texans reach the conference championship over the Cowboys in this next season.
Let's see.
FPI might say otherwise, but
it does. Well, like you say, we've got looking at it. They have Cowboys, 49ers at 8%. The highest percentage for Texans is 5% against the Chiefs, and a 4 percentile opportunity against the Ravens. So 2 chances there for according to FPI, for what that's worth. So chew on that a little bit. We'll be back to wrap up today's edition of the program from here in College Station on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Your Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone show hosts are looking good. Want to know how we know? It's time. Y'all ready? Because the Hard Knocks Life and the Craig Way Show have live video streams, faces for radio, and the digital screen.
It's main event time. It's going down.
Find us on Facebook at AM 1300 The Zone.
Shop simple. It doesn't get any easier. You're looking for a new Ford. You don't have time to spend hours at the dealership. So Truck City Ford in Buda has made it simple. Go online. Pick yours at truckcityford.com. We can bring it to you for a home test drive. Once you determine it's perfect, you can arrange financing, value your trade, and sign all your paperwork digitally. Then simply tell us where and when you want to take delivery. Leif Johnson's Truck City Ford in Buda has made buying a new Ford simple.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
Here's a Father's Day dad joke. The way a pawn moves in chess is pretty straightforward. You know what's not a dad joke? Getting $50 off the Bartesian Premium Countertop Cocktail Maker with the purchase of 1 pack of Dad's favorite cocktail capsules. Visit BARTESIAN.com/father to get the best premium cocktail maker for Dad at the best price for you. Bartesian, premium cocktails on demand.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, a Pfizer vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry, this is a limited time offer. So find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends July 31st, 2024. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
From the Audiovisual Consultation Studio, this is KBET AM Austin, AM 1300 The Zone. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your sports, podcasts, and music.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but you grew up and things changed. Well, it's time to put it back on your list. Innovative things are happening in teaching today, and you can be a part of it.
Make more. Teach. Visit teach.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Sports Radio, AM 1300 The Zone.
Get ready to wrap it up here in College Station. And get ready for don't forget online is your opportunity to listen to Texas softball tonight as the Longhorns softball team will try to advance in the winner's bracket. Certainly looks like Oklahoma's going to do that. They spotted Duke in early run, and they came back with 2 run winners in the third. They hit another home run in the fourth, another run in the fifth, 7-1. Oklahoma leading as they go to that Women's College World Series appearance. So it certainly looks as though Oklahoma will advance. The Longhorns will try to do the same as they play this evening. Again, it's a 6 o'clock schedule. First pitch for that one. And depending on how much longer that goes, since Oklahoma scored 7 runs, and unless the Sooners can put 2 runs on the board in the bottom of the 5th inning and run that 6 o'clock start time may be pushed back a little bit. We'll see. They had some rain earlier, but it didn't really affect the schedule too much on that. We had some dark clouds here in the area, and like the greater Austin area, they are expecting some rain to be around the area tonight, but they're hoping that it doesn't impact things tomorrow, that we don't see rain delays tomorrow in the game. This time of year, obviously, what you're dealing with, very hot temperatures, and here as we come up on the 5 o'clock hour at 95 degrees, still here at Olsen Field, and the possibility of the what do they like to call it, the unstable air that comes in, and the possibility of a thunderstorm. So we'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. But for now, everything is scheduled to go on time tomorrow. Texas A&M, the #1 seed in this region that they are hosting. They're the #3 overall national seed. And the Aggies will play Grambling in the first game at noon, and then Texas scheduled to play at 5 o'clock. And they'll take on the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana tomorrow. Cam, you got any plans for tonight?
Just hanging out, watching Texas softball, watching some NBA playoffs, and getting ready for tomorrow.
There you go. All right. we'll look forward to it. And Cameron will get the program started for you tomorrow before we check in from here in College Station. And we'll hear tomorrow some more preview from principals involved in this regional. And that includes from the Louisiana side as well. So we thank you for joining us. Covino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio, up next. For the producer, Cameron Parker, I'm Craig Way. Thanking you for joining us, and we'll visit with you tomorrow right here at 2 o'clock on Sports Radio AM 13 Under the Zone.